Warning, the following video is rated M for mature. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy!
So as we discussed in the last video, go view it if you haven't already, High School Musical was a breakout success. It got views, it sold DVDs and merchandise, and perhaps most importantly, it had marketable and one-dimensional characters. Anyone with a brain knew a sequel was coming down the pipeline. It was just a matter of time. What we got was High School Musical 2, statistically the best DCOM of all time, with most people saying it's either better than the original, or at least just as good as it. As a kid, I remember getting really hung up on the fact that 90% of this movie doesn't even take place in a high school, so I didn't really give it a chance, and kind of jaded me to the rest of the series. So after giving this movie a fresh look after all these years, my opinion has definitely changed. To what exactly? Well, you have to watch to find out. I'm MOPETE, and this is my review of High School Musical 2. We start our film on the last day of school at East High, and okay. What did Zeke do to end up on that stage with a shush hat on the last day of school? That's such a weird touch that matches Darbus's character. I love it. Anyway, our cast waits out the final seconds of the school year and breaks out into the opening song, What Time Is It? And wow, way to leave Miss Darbus's room a mess, guys. Our class sings about their plans for the summer. Nothing special in the lyrics, but the music and choreography make this number work. Afterwards, Troy and the gang expresses their needs for summer jobs, while the beautiful Sharpay is less than excited to hear Gabriella is staying in town. Troy meets up with Gab and gives her a 5-month anniversary necklace. Now, is it just me, or is that a little bit too much to just 5 months? But what do I know about love, right? Sharpay apparently doesn't respect this already existing relationship and is openly scheming to get with Troy during the summer. Kind of taking a step back in her character development. I mean, at the end of the first film, she seemed to be pretty respecting of Troy and Gab's thing, and even seemed to be a good sport about it. This renewed, almost obsessive passion she has for Troy feels like it was just brought on in this movie just to make her the antagonist again. Kicking her plan into motion, Troy gets a call later that day about a mysterious job opportunity that has opened up for him, which he accepts on one condition. Oh, and this is the second time in the series we see Troy's mom. Hi, Miss Bolton. Out at the Lava Spring Country Club, Sharpay pulls up in her convertible that has a license plate that reads Fabulous. Pretty sure that's illegal in New Mexico. The siblings meet up with the club's manager, Mr. Fulton. With Fulton, Sharpay reviews the club's upcoming summer talent show. As it turns out, her parents own the place, and her brother, unsurprisingly, have won the last 5 shows. Outside of the pool, Sharpay decides to lay out with her friends, and breaks out into the song, Fabulous. Fabulous is meant to present Sharpay's obsession with extravagance and overall self-centeredness, and it works in that regard mainly because the music is so catchy, and the song lyrics are so catchy, but overall, the set and choreography is kind of pedestrian. Like, look at the background characters. They're not really singing or dancing, they're just kind of just there, swaying. At the end of the song, Troy walks in, and Sharpay starts to zero in on what she sees. But then she starts to freak out when she sees Gabriella too, and the rest of the Wildcats. So she decides to take a dip. Furious, Sharpay storms over to Fulton, who explains that was the only way that he could have gotten Troy to come, and that he even got approval from the club's board, Ryan and Sharpay's parents. After her mother tells her not to get bent out of shape, Sharpay goes back to Fulton and tells him to do whatever he can to make the Wildcats quit. Back in the kitchen, Fulton does just that and spits hot fire as he divvies out them jobs.
Is not inspiration, but perspiration. That means mood music, not new music.
He also tells the Wildcats, 3 strikes and they're out, meaning they're fired. The gang starts to get ornery and complains about the new workload that they have, but Troy rallies them back together with the song Work It Out. It's one of the better songs in the movie. The message is simple, the singing and dancing is on point, and I even like that little part where they bang the dishes and do that little solo piece. Good stuff. Afterwards, Troy invites Gab out to a romantic picnic at the golf course at the place where they work. Come on, guys. You know this is a terrible idea, Mr. Fulton lurking around. So I'm just going to sit here and wait for something to go wrong. Oh, look, something went wrong. After literally raining on their parade, Mr. Fulton catches them and gives them each one strike, especially dotting on Gabriella for some reason. The next morning, Troy and Gab stumble across Kelsey, the pianist from the last film, working on some music by herself. She reveals the song is for the upcoming talent show and wants Troy and Gab and the rest of the gang to perform it. Troy initially refuses, but after some coaxing from Gabriella, he and the rest of the gang eventually join in. This little number is called You Are the Music in Me, and is by far the best song in this movie. I love this song, guys. It's charming, it's upbeat, the chorus is just on point, it's magnificent from all angles, guys. It's really the high point of this film. Later in that day, Sharpay has Troy caddy for her and her family, which includes her father, who makes his entrance by helicopter, landing on a golf course. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's illegal too. The group starts golfing and yeah, it's kind of a filler scene. It runs about 5 minutes too long, and the only thing of note that happens is that Troy sets up dinner with Gab. Later in the kitchen though, Troy finds out he's been summoned to have dinner with the Evans family by Mr. Fulton, but not before Mr. Fulton describes the tie rather unusually.
It goes around your neck, like a dog collar.
Yeah, is there something you're not telling us there, Mr. Fulton? Oh, I don't want to know. It's your business. At dinner, it's revealed that Mr. Evans has a lot of clout over at U of A, Troy's dream school, and can be very influential to getting him a scholarship there. Sharpay then springs her trap, and basically strong-arms Troy into doing a talent show with her. She didn't really give him an option to refuse. Right after dinner, Troy is supposed to meet up with Gab, but is taken by Mr. Fulton and exposed to this horror. This is Humu Humu, and it is definitely the low point of this film. And correct me if I'm wrong, the lyrics and music don't seem to be based off any Asian or Pacific Islander culture, which makes it really cringe and unauthentic and kind of insensitive. And to top it all off, the choreography is boring. It mainly just consists of Sharpay being a jerk to Ryan. I share Troy's discomfort when looking at this song. It's a rare miss. When it's all said and done, Troy suggests that Sharpay sing without all the weird special effects. Sharpay agrees, but tries to make her move on Troy. At a rather inappropriate time, I think. Troy predictably says no, and escapes to his date with Gab that he's late for. He finally makes it there, and they both decide to jump in the pool, where they work, after hours, with Mr. Fulton still lurking around. I don't even have to say anything. I'm just going to sit here and wait for something to go wrong. Oh look, something went wrong. Mr. Fulton catches them and gives them both strike two. Again, focusing on Gab and not really Troy. And the next morning, Troy even gets a promotion from Mr. Fulton, complete with a new locker and golf gear. He subtly tells them he should stay on the Evans' good side. While working his new position, Troy gives swing lessons to Sharpay, who was rocking that Gwen Stefani look. I dig it. During the lesson, Sharpay continues to lock on to Troy and doing a talent show with her, while Sharpay and Taylor look on. Taylor is worried that Sharpay is actually starting to sway Troy over to her side. But that's ridiculous. Troy wouldn't try anything like that with my Sharpay. It's just a harmless golf lesson. That sneaky bastard.
We're on this together, right?
Your parents have been really, really nice, Sharpay. But singing with you isn't part of my job.
I know. This is something you promised to do. Remember?
MOPETE will be back after these messages.
Tell Pumpkin if she worries too much, she'll get frown lines. I told her twice.
No! Namaste!
back to more MOPETE.
So after some swing practice, Sharpay's dad introduces Troy to some U of A players, who invite him to practice with them sometime. While eating dinner with them, Troy rudely brushes off Chad, confirming some of Taylor's suspicions. Meanwhile, Sharpay basically steals You Are the Music for Me from Kelsey, and ousts Ryan from the show. Gab confronts Troy on all of his changes and broken promises, but he brushes it off, only to once again break a promise and leave the gang. I actually think Troy's character arc and motivation in this movie is done really well. He's slowly abandoning his friends in search of greener pastures, but doesn't realize it until it starts to come to a boil. He's also not entirely wrong. You make the argument that his friends are a tad selfish for getting mad at him for pursuing his own happiness, when given the circumstances, if the situation was changed, they do the same thing in his shoes. It's good, compelling stuff, and it's a credit to the writers. Later on, Ryan gets invited to participate in a staff baseball game. There, it is suggested that he could help the Wildcats with a talent show act, and together they can all win it. Everyone is on board with it, except for Chad, who insists that he does not dance. The game starts, and throughout, Ryan slowly convinces Chad that he can in fact dance. This is displayed in the musical number, I Don't Dance, which is a great song in its own right. The thing is though, Chad can dance. Like, he does so in this song, and several other songs throughout this movie alone. So that brings up the question, why does he say that he can't dance? Is he just being defiant? Is he picking up on some hidden meaning here? Leave a comment to why you think that Chad says he can't dance. Anyways, after the two boys come to terms, things between Troy and Chad start heating up, and they come to a boil in the kitchen, where it seems like their friendship was going to be fractured for now. But Troy doesn't have time for that. He's a talent show to prepare for, which includes rehearsing his new edition of You Are the Music in Me. Yep, if turning this once-beloved timeless classic into overblown pop trash isn't a metaphor in the music industry, I don't know what is. I have no other opinions on this number. Good to see that Sharpay took none of Troy's advice from earlier. That's hilarious. Not long after their remix, Troy is starting to feel some pressure.
Need some air.
That's certainly not the worst delusion to have. The next day, Sharpay finds the Wildcats and Ryan rehearsing their number for the show. When she questions him about it, Ryan makes his defection official and bids her adieu. Not taking this sitting down, Sharpay pulls the ace out her sleeve, Mr. Fulton. She has him schedule all the employees, excluding Troy of course, to work the night at a talent show, disallowing all of them to participate. When Mr. Fulton has Taylor distribute information, cracks of his true feelings start to show, leading to one of my favorite exchanges in this whole movie.
May I get you a cup of tea, Mr. Fulton?
Chamomile would be lovely.
I prefer jasmine. When Taylor breaks the news to the gang, Gab decides to confront Sharpay herself, and basically tells her off and quits. Troy comes in soon after, and she breaks up with him via this film's sad Gabriella song, I Gotta Go My Own Way. And it's not bad or anything, it's just boring to me. Next! After the fallout, Troy starts to seriously question himself and his actions. And when he catches wind of his friends not being able to do the talent show, he snaps into his redemption song, Bet On Me. The number is simple, powerful, and shows Troy getting back to the form that he needs to get to. Once again, good stuff. Having found new resolve, Troy quits the challenge show, much to Sharpay's dismay. With the stage set for the finale, we cut to the evening of the talent show, with Sharpay desperately trying to get Ryan back onto her side. He predictably says no, leaving her abandoned with no co-star. Back in the kitchen, Troy and Chad have a bro union, and Ryan convinces him to help Sharpay, but on the condition that everyone else can help too, which Sharpay agrees to. The gang pulls the old bait and switch, and get to sing their song every day. Gab even helps out, forgiving Troy for his actions. A bit about the song itself. It's another banger. The lyrics are fire, the dancing is fire, the chorus is fire. What else can I really say? The gang easily wins the talent show with it, and Sharpay deservingly gives the Star Dazzle award to Ryan. Later that night, 5 couples go out to fly lanterns on the golf course, and look at who Sharpay is with. Zeke Baker. One can assume they got together at the end of the last movie, and now here they are, together again. He must be like her permanent rebound guy. Not a bad gig, to be honest. Troy and Gab finally share an on-scene kiss, and we cut to our last musical number, All for One. It's a comfy conclusion to a comfy movie, and as the song says, you just let go to the rhythm of the drums. Oh look, even Selena Gomez is here. And so, with our two main characters jumping into the pool, the camera slowly darkens, and our much-awaited sequel comes to a close. And what a sequel it was. In many aspects, it did things better than the original. The story and pacing was better, the conflict made more sense, the soundtrack was better. I think out of all the songs in this movie, only one or two weren't absolute bangers. So yeah, my opinion of this movie has changed a lot since I was a kid. Overall, it's a good flick in its own right, and it's easily the best in the trilogy. I'd give it a B overall. It's a good flick, like I said, but it's not exceptional. There's moments like the filler moments that keep the movie from being at its perfect runtime. There's also little silly moments in there that just keep it from the cups of greatness, true film greatness. But I think I've had enough of New Mexico for now. It's time for me to return to the suburbs where I belong. And that is your clue for the next review in this Disney Channel movie review marathon. Until then, if you like something, go ahead and show some love and leave a like. If something I said bothered you, go ahead and comment about it, or the opposite. In any case, I'm going to go ahead and take a nap because it's like 3 in the morning. I'm super tired. See you next time, guys. MOPETE out.